I used to be a teacher. For 4 years, I was a high school English teacher in the Bay Area in California. Luckily, I escaped teaching poetry lessons for the most part because I'm not a poetry pro. However, there is one type of poem I love, the haiku. They're simple, short, and beautiful. 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Rhyming? Not necessary. Funny? Sometimes. Enlightening? Perhaps. Now this one today started as a fun exercise. I wondered to myself if there are haikus that exist that could teach us invaluable lessons about money. It turns out, absolutely. These aren't Shakespearean by any means, but I will share 5 and discuss a big takeaway from each. But stick around until the end for a few quick fun bonus haikus. 1 or 2 should definitely make you laugh. By the way, my name is Frankie and this is The Money Resolution, where we have fun talking money and getting resolved to get good with it. Subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. Like this video if you like it by the end, and let's dive in. With haiku number 1, so many to pay, don't just dole it all away, for you come first. Yay. All right, this one didn't necessarily stick the landing with that tacked on last syllable, but hey, rules are rules with haikus. The key is that last line though, for you come first. I actually did a whole video on the idea of paying yourself first, the first lesson in the iconic book, The Richest Man in Babylon. And I actually just grabbed a physical copy for I think $5 since I've only listened to it, and I'll link below to that. But the importance of paying yourself first cannot be overstated. Think about it. You work hard for 8 hours a day, and after paying rent or mortgage, all of your bills, buying gas and groceries, paying taxes, insurance, possibly childcare, dealing with random small financial emergencies, what do you typically have left over to save and invest for future you? For 54% of Americans, that number is sadly $0. That's how many people are living paycheck to paycheck, 54%. I can assure you, if you don't make saving your money and paying yourself first a priority, you are inadvertently convincing yourself that other people's priorities are higher than your own. Now, on the other hand, let's say you save 12.5% of your paycheck and stash it away, ideally invested, you're still only getting paid for the first hour of an 8-hour workday. I actually strive for and preach for saving half. Future you deserves half, and the math is in your favor if you can get there. You can retire in as little as 17 years on any income if you are able to sock away 50%. For starters though, of course, I suggest you aim for a savings rate of 25%. That's 2 hours of your 8-hour workday, because you come first. Yay. Haiku number 2, I hope the wealthy enjoy eating money when nothing else exists. This haiku is a great reminder that money does not equal happiness, and money isn't everything. You shouldn't get obsessed. Being wealthy or achieving financial independence is not the end all be all. That's not the essence of life. Yes, it can help you get to where you want to go as a tool, but one thing's for sure, you can't take it with you. The goal of money and wealth building should never be to accumulate as much as possible. This more is more mentality is greedy, and the goalpost to happiness gets constantly moved on you. The goal is to accumulate enough wealth so that you can live the life you want. And that's up to you to define ahead of time. Most people don't take time to define the life they want or how much money it takes to get there. I often call it your why of FI. It's financial independence. So start with the end in mind financially, work hard to get there, then enjoy the fruits of your labor. Eat fruit, not money. Yeah, I'm simplifying like all of life in one tiny nutshell here, but that's really the essence of it. Know where you want to go, get on the path, stay on the path, get educated so you can possibly accelerate the journey, but don't forget to pop your head out of the window and enjoy it endlessly like a puppy in the back seat. Know how much is enough, always live within your means, then give the excess. Help yourself, then help others. I could keep going. There were a lot of lessons in this one. Haiku number 3, money hanging out a back pocket, followed for while chickened out. And when I first came across this haiku, I thought it was about the temptation to do bad or corrupt things in the name of greed and lust for money. Don't do that, of course. Karma's a you-know-what. But then I started to think of this one in a different light. I think it also illustrates the importance of keeping your accounts and money secure at all times. I myself plan to spend some time this next week resetting all my passwords and getting everything organized, ideally into one app. I actually just installed and I'm leaning towards LastPass, but I'm definitely open to ideas or suggestions here. Now, far too often, we hear about big businesses having data breaches, and what do most people do? Nothing. Update your passwords. Check the dark web, whatever that means, to see if your email address or accounts are compromised. Make sure your credit card companies have your back in case the situation came up. The bottom line, most people focus on offense financially, which is earning money, but it's critical you play defense as well. Don't assume it can't happen to you. Actually, a few months back, a hacker got a hold of my work email and blasted the all staff alias with spam. That was extremely embarrassing, and luckily it wasn't a financial issue, but I assure you, it can happen to you as well. You and your money could be at risk, but you can prevent it if you take action. There are lots of people out there looking for a shortcut to wealth. Don't let their shortcut be at your expense. Again, I'm looking for advice here as well, so do share if you have any security recommendations. Haiku number 4, Tiffany blue can cause anticipation at the sight of the box. Now, while seemingly silly on the surface here, I wanted to include this one to talk a bit about frugality and lifestyle creep. It's important to recognize that name brands make a living from being a name brand, not necessarily for selling quality. I remember being a kid and being so obsessed with name brands, and back to school shopping was always embarrassing because my friends were showing up to school with Ralph Lauren, Polo, Tommy Hilfiger, and The Gap. The best we could afford was Old Navy. Now these days, of course, I recognize how much money you can save by shopping for generic brands, or at least lesser known brands. I love Target or Target, Costco's Kirkland Signature, Amazon's Good Threads brand for men's clothes, and I have no problem popping into a grocery outlet or dollar store occasionally. I even now love Old Navy. Let me know, what are some of your favorite generic or lesser known brands? And don't get me started on jewelry here. I worked in the jewelry industry for 6 years. The markup is insane. We're talking 90% or more in some cases. Yes, she'll swoon at the sight of a light blue Tiffany's box, but for my money, I'd rather have a larger stone from elsewhere and or more money in my pocket for the same size stone. Plus, recognize that name brands like Tiffany's can be a slippery slope. Now you're going to want other highly desired name brands to match your name brand. This is actually a version of what's called the Diderot effect, where you need more nice things to match your current nice things, and the cycle continues. Of course, there is a time and place for buying quality items that will last a long time. But if you do go quality, keep it for a long time, okay? Haiku number 5. I write lists and lists of goals to achieve happiness, then I forget. Well, this one hits home. This story happens to so many of us, and often, especially when it comes to financial goals or goals that require money, like buying a house. First of all, setting goals is great and important, so do that or keep doing that. But it's critical you keep your goal or goals in sight and in mind, not out of sight and out of mind. I actually like to put them on Post-it notes if it's a short-term goal and stick it right on my monitor. Some people like to write on their bathroom mirror, for example. I also keep an ongoing goals note in my iPhone that I check in maybe a few times a week. I have a big passive income goal this year of $30,000, and I created my own income tracker that I update monthly that shows me how I'm trending and even tracks my net worth because I have a goal there as well. Grab a copy of that, by the way, if you'd like, with a link in the description. Now, for some people, they set too many goals or goals that are too challenging and unrealistic, or the wrong goals altogether. So here's what I like to do. It's called the 5-25 exercise, and Warren Buffett made it famous-ish. It's essentially applying the 80-20 rule to a brain dump of goals. So write down everything you wish to do or accomplish in the next year or 5 years or 10 years, your call. Then circle the 5 that excite you the most or will move the needle the most. Focus on those and only those going forward. Everything else is your avoid at all cost list. It's trimming the fat, so to speak. I actually made a whole video on this topic. I recommend you watch next if you want to hear more about this. Haiku number 6. I had 6, not 5, but odd numbers and titles drive more clicks, so bonus. That was also a haiku. The love of money is the root of all evil. That person is broke. I'm sure people are going to disagree with some of my thoughts on this, but that's okay. Personally, I get frustrated when I hear money is the root of all evil. Yes, greed is rampant. Bribery and corrupt government officials are definitely a thing. Debt is bad, and we have a ton of it here in the US. But money itself is not inherently evil. Money is just a tool. It can be used for good. Think charity, rebuilding communities, education, more housing, and so on. and it can be used for bad in ways that I already mentioned. But money only makes you more of who you are. If you're a good person, you'll do good with your money. If you're not a good person, it's likely you'll use money in selfish ways or find corrupt ways to obtain it. But the reality is, without currency, there'd probably be total chaos. Now, on a smaller scale, people tend to convince themselves that money is bad. They don't want too much of it because they think more money, more problems. They use this as an excuse to stay uneducated about it, and an excuse to stay poor and broke, an excuse to pass the buck, like debt, to future generations. Not having money might feel like the root of most of your problems, but that's not the reality. Money won't solve all your problems, but of course, it can solve most of your money problems. With the right mindset, education, a little hard work, and wise decisions daily, I truly believe anyone can grow their wealth and increase their net worth. But here's the deal. Wherever you go, there you are. It's not the root of all your problems or the solution. Now, on the other side, wanting more money and working hard to earn more isn't a bad thing. It's not greedy if you earn honestly and help other people in the process. Bottom line here, money equals less money problems. Not having it equals more money problems, but money doesn't equal evil. I personally believe being scared of money is a lazy excuse, one that will lead to having less of it, therefore more money problems. And a few actual bonuses here quickly. Sure, doctors save lives, but so does education. Pay our teachers more. Of course, I had to include this. I don't have to explain it, I hope. Seriously, let's pay our teachers more. Drop the word agree or amen in the comments if you're behind this one as well. And now for something a little bit lighter. Play money is worth more than real in the heat of Monopoly games. So true. I have many fond memories of playing Monopoly with siblings and friends growing up. I don't know if we ever finished a game though. Let me know if this was also one of your favorites growing up. By the way, the other day I learned about this never-ending Monopoly game you see on screen. I'm glad they have a sense of humor. It looks like there are 4 of every property and the winner has to own them all. Crazy. I am so tired. Where did all my money go? My back is hurting. Yep, I get it. This one's many of us, right? I just got to that back hurting stage, but I did dig myself out of the where did all my money go phase. If you're still there though, I can assure you there's a brighter future ahead, especially if you subscribe here and or watch similar financial education videos like this one in the future. I hope today you got at least one takeaway, one favorite haiku, and that it didn't feel painful to learn money. Like if you had fun with me today and appreciate the odd creative topics that I sometimes come up with, it really does help me out. And again, subscribe if you want to hang out more often. Thank you for your time today as always. My name is Frankie the Poet. Just kidding, it's MC Frank. Although I did make a whole rap video you should check out next if you haven't seen it. You got to at least appreciate that Fresh Prince thumbnail. This is the money resolution, and I hope to see you in a few days on the next one. Thanks. Haikus are easy, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator. All right, see ya.